into this new age, as Donald Trump would have called it, the new age, or the Great Reset, or what is called the new normal, which is also called normalization, which is part of a plan of taking over a country that has freedoms like we have. So we're there, and it is all connected, and it's happening right now.
Yes, it is part of a bigger picture, pandemic, scandemic, whatever you want to call it. The Great Reset, that's a very appropriate. And these things have been written in the protocols. I've been reading from them, sharing them for years and years and years. And now it's all in your face. They talk about, creating this economic crisis where everybody would be thrown out on the streets of all the nations of the world, and there would be riots and businesses being burnt down, and basically like, that whole movie series, the Purge, and we did have all that be a reality here in America and across the world for a time. And so they have successfully orchestrated exactly what they had planned all this time. And you were the one that told me about the whole movie series, about the vaccines coming out and how they would create and manufacture disease in order to do the whole Hegelian dialectic of problem reaction solution, and that weaponizing a virus, that they would combat it with another weaponized virus. And this would be for not only to depopulate the numbers of the world, but also to cause sterility in, the those that would remain alive, and that would
Right.
yeah.
Utopia,
So
right?
yeah, Utopia,
Hmm.
yes, exactly. I couldn't remember the name of the series, but I didn't realize that there were two. There was an older version and a newer version, and I haven't seen the newer version yet because I thought I was actually watching the newer one. But my daughter told me, my daughter-in-law Joy told me that I was actually watching the older version, and so I'm looking forward to checking it all out anew. But can you talk a little bit about that? Because it seems that, the whole script written for that movie is something that we seem to be following in the quote unquote real world as well.
That's absolutely accurate, because that show is detailed so much that I have a friend on with me every Friday, and we call it the Solomon Report. And we have broken it down a few times. We actually dedicated a whole episode to it because there's so much in it. And we did talk about watching the UK version versus the US version, and that
Right.
they do change some things. I mean, some of it's more simple, like the one eye Illuminati stuff, but there's a lot of, the guy in the UK version, it's on a different eye. And the
Uh-huh.
one in the US version, he does the other eye, but they both still point to an Illuminati nod. And
Right.
yes, they what they do is they create a disease with an actual, um, I think they do it's a, oh, I remember, they eat it like a piece of bread, like you're taking the Eucharist at a Catholic church. That's what it looks like, and it's got a design on it of a QR code, and it immediately sickens and kills a twin. And of course, there's twins in the show, and twins are a big thing, and I have something to say about that later if we get to it. But the other twin is the one that gets miraculously saved, but she doesn't because she never was ill. So they
Hmm.
they do kill the one twin to save the other, to make it look like we've got the cure. And of course the scientist that comes up with the cure thinks he's doing a good thing in this particular show. We don't know what it's really like in the real world. If
Hmm.
they there's I'm sure there's a lot of scientists that think that they're doing good. They don't know that they're working basically for Satan,
Right.
just on his clock. But yeah, so particularly this vaccine they come up with creates sterility in women. And I thought I was going a step further, because in my research, I'm like, oh, it's going to make them immortal. Oh my gosh, it's going to be, or they're going to be able to fly or something. Because in my research, I've looked at what a third strand DNA would do, and it's the light body that we're promised after we die, that we had before, that you talked about, I do believe, that they're trying to have on Earth. And now I'm talking back in the real world, not just the show Utopia, that I think that they're trying to create a strand of DNA that would be placed with Orm gold, which is monoatomic gold, which would be floatable like helium and hydrogen. And then they would create an eternal body because it would cure their cancer, just like in the movie Venom, where the character allows and accepts, has to invite and accept Venom to be his symbiotic relationship with him, which is a black goo creature. And if I'm going too far over, if I'm being
No,
too
no, you're good.
superficial on this, tell me. Yeah, if I'm confusing, tell me I'm being confusing. But in my research, what I've discovered is this would be a programmable matter. Is all you have to know, that that's what the black goo is programmable matter, and it would be you'd be able to put this third strand DNA in your body with a lightweight gold that could help you fly and have superpowers, but also cure your cancer, your illnesses, give you longevity in life, if not eternity. And I think that's Utopia really points to that as a beginning. It's not we're in the beginning stages of this, where it's just kind of a CRISPR DNA editing situation. I don't think we're there yet with the full-on third strand, and I don't know that they'll ever get there because their plans are not the Lord's plans. So we don't know how far
Hmm.
it'll really go, but I do know that it certainly is the future. I don't know for sure, but in my prayer life and in my understanding of what I've researched with black goo and the third strand DNA, that Utopia is just the beginning. If they make more series, more seasons, which I don't know that they will, I guess they cut it off after 2 seasons of the UK version, and the US version is more recent, but the US version may take off, and maybe it'll go there with superpowers and things like that. So to make a short story long on Utopia, it really is basic to the current situation, but I think it's going to get way more. It's not a basic show. What I mean, it's a lot going on in there, but basic to
Hmm.
what the current vaccine will do with sterilization. I think we're going to go a lot further, and call it a vaccine is really a huge misnomer.
Hmm. Yeah, there's I forget the name of this, but it was a movie, and it was where the Earth was um, dying and the radiation, whatever, but they had to send people off world, and they found this one moon around Jupiter, which we know is we're not living in a solar system, but the whole
Right.
fairy tale setup of this. But anyways, they I believe it was Titan. They would have to send people, Earthlings, to Titan, but they would have to modify them for that particular world. And so they go through this whole series of genetic modification and DNA tampering in order to change them and adjust them. And in the process, these people basically go crazy and start murdering people and killing their loved ones and things of that nature. But um, in order to prepare themselves for, this long journey and to re-people this particular moonlet. But anyways, we see that kind of theme and that kind of scenario playing out in a lot of what they're coming out with as far as Hollywood, even with all of the superhero stuff, all the Marvel stuff. That seems to be you know, um, a super soldier type situation where um, people or receiving powers or being altered in some manner that they are considered to be, X-Men, mutants, and have greater capacity and ability than just regular humans. And now that is seen as desirable. And it's something that, a lot of people, I bet, would get in line for, whether it's like a military type situation where they want to enhance the soldier, or, seeking volunteers to get cyborg technology or modified in some manner, that kind of thing would vie with some people and would seem to be appealing. But anyways, I know we're going way off as far as the subject matter for this evening, but all of this again fits into what we are living and experiencing, and the whole coming the reign of the Antichrist, the whole theme of the Watchers and the Overlords, and the fallen angels being the creators of humanity. These are themes which are going to play out and which people are going to be forced to consider. The Great Reset, as far as I saw, way back in like even the 80s, when that whole New Age thing was just coming to light, and you're probably not alive, and many of you
I
listening
was
were
born in
probably not.
78.
Okay, well, still a
I
little
was
bit earlier. Yeah, I was born in '70, so I was 18 at the time of the what they called the harmonic convergence, and that was supposedly the thing where all the planets lined up on one side of the sun, supposedly, and that this was going to start the opening of what was the New Age, and so all that kind of kicked off with that harmonic convergence. And I remember being in Little Five Points in Atlanta in a little crystal shop when all that was going on. But there was, all these New Age books, and got exposed to a lot of that teaching during that time, and actually discovered the Book of Enoch in that particular New Age bookstore, and got introduced to that. And those scriptures were just absolutely mind blowing. Well, reading about the fallen angels and their propagation of evil, and how they rejected the Most High, rebelled against Him, all of that. It was just absolutely mind blowing. But um, that was kind of my first exposure to extra biblical manuscripts, which are not included within the Bible, that added to and really made sense when you consider the world that we're living in, and even what we're contending not against flesh and blood, but the powers, the principalities, the rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places. We see this theme even on the currency, on the U.S. currency, and how all of that, the Novus Ordo Seclorum and E Pluribus Unum, all of that. So um, very interesting that it's all now in your face. But I'll turn it over to you with regard to the Great Reset, because what I was saying, what I was leading up to, was that even back in the 80s, I remember this lady, she had put me on her email list when the internet first came out, and she was talking about, even back then, the whole Nasara program.
Mhm.
And I had heard about it way back when the internet first came out and all of that started uh, coming to light. But even in back in the 80s, that was part of the whole New Age movement, and we see now it's nothing new, but a lot of people still believe it to be something that just now came out with QAnon or whatever. But this has been part of the agenda for a long time.
You bring up a great point with the dollar, and I love everybody that comes on here, but we've had some pushback with the crypto and the metals. And I want to
Yeah.
ask those people, are you using the dollar? And
Right.
when people say, I don't need crypto, I don't need gold and silver, I have Yahuwah and I'm good to go. I worry
Mm.
about a little self-righteousness in that, because are they using a dollar right now? And have you seen your dollar? Have you looked at your dollar? And like
Right.
you just explained it, so I don't have to. And this is connected to what we're going to talk about with the Great Reset, highly connected. And I'm so glad you've been talking about cryptocurrency, because it's just unbelievably connected to what we're going to be talking about with the Great Reset. And the Great Reset is what's called the new normal, or normalization. And there's a process to taking over a country that has the kind of rights that we've had. They don't want, they want to legislate equality. And when you legislate equality, you can destroy a free nation, right? And it sounds simple. Like, why are we talking about legislating equality? Because that's where it starts, is legislating with civil rights, legislating with women's rights, and then legislating with LGBT. And at first, it's all, we just want equal rights. But pretty soon, we don't want equal rights. We want special rights. And the special rights is where they really start to take over. And the very first stage of this is demoralization. And that's about a 20-year stage, where they change the curriculum in the schools. or adjust it or whatever they're doing to make sure it's in line with what they're thinking. And when you say who's they, the powers that be, the powers that are going to try to come in and destroy the free nation. They might be outside of the country, they might be inside of the country. It just bear with me on this. And then after destabilization or after demoralization is destabilization. So we've seen that our currency has become rocky since 1913 when they put in the Federal Reserve. The dollar has continuously dropped in value. This is all very connected to gold and silver and now crypto. So when the Great Depression happened, that bolstered the dollar, but what did they also do? They made gold illegal from 1934 to 1974. So that was to bolster the dollar even more. But ultimately, you look at that graph, and the dollar continues to go down to where it's about worth 2 cents now, what it was originally worth as a dollar. Now, the reason that compares to gold and silver is because gold and silver have always been money. First gold, and then silver, if they need to use silver because the amount of debt, whatever, compared to gold, at a time that there is no other currency, might need silver. And so gold and silver have always been money, but all we've known is the dollar. And you and I have been trying to educate people to stop thinking about dollars and to think about
Right.
money. This is
Right.
currency. We want you to have a store of value that you can
Yes.
use as a fair trade, which is I go to Zen and I say, Zen, I have this product. And you say, well, I can pay you with this. And I say, that's great. Let's do it. That benefits me and this benefits you. And that's a fair trade system. That in history has been gold and silver. Cryptocurrency is new because of our current technology. It may not be new, right? We've had technology in the past. So maybe it's not new, but it's new for us. It's a current technology that we have. And so when we look at the fact that the Great Reset, okay, so I said destabilization was the next stage. Well, we're far out of destabilization now because I think we're now in the critical chaos moment where now they've destabilized the economy and now it's falling apart. Okay. And so that's when they're going to introduce their form of currency that could become, everybody worries that cryptocurrency is the mark of the beast. I understand that, but what you don't understand is how blockchain works. And if you start to learn it, which it's not easy, it is a little complicated, but it's not, you guys are smart people. We're all smart people or we wouldn't be here. So
Hmm.
I know we can all figure this out, that it's a little bit different. But once you understand how blockchain works, you know that there is what's decentralized, and then they're going to create a centralized. There's a show called Mr. Robot, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But in that show, it shows exactly what we are going through now, but it wasn't a virus. It was a crash based on a hacker taking down the system. But guess who let him take down the system? The elites. They
Yes, of
wanted them
course.
they wanted them to take
Right.
down the hackers to totally destroy everything so that they could introduce their coin, which was called eCoin with an E. And
Interesting.
right, very interesting. I mean,
What's the name of this again?
Mr. Robot
Is it a movie or
is a
television
series.
series? Okay.
Yes, it's 4 seasons.
Interesting.
And I don't recommend it from a standpoint of entertainment. I recommend it from a standpoint of I'm going to learn something from this. They're telling me something.
Right, right.
And so when we look at the Davos conference, which is a 4-day conference for the World Economic Forum, and if you're not familiar with that, it's a bunch of elites that are pretending they're going to make the world a better place. And
Right.
it's headed by executive chairman Klaus Schwab, which is such a creepy name. I've never heard of him before this year. And yet he's been heading the World Economic Forum for some time. It is funded by Gates. And they came out with a video. Now, to this moment, I'm going to share the link in the chat. So if anybody wants to go and dislike this video, it has reached 29,000 dislikes to 2,000 likes after 380,000 views. Absolutely phenomenal ratio of
Wow.
dislikes. And that comes from the World Economic Forum saying, what is the Great Reset? And it's also called the Davos Agenda 2021. And this is where Klaus Schwab tells us, you are going to have nothing and like it. And he doesn't say it that
Wow.
succinct, but he does say, you will have nothing and you'll like it. And they have several quote unquote experts that speak in this little video, and some people are going to know who they are and some aren't. I'm not going to go through their names because it really doesn't, I don't care about that right now.
Mhm.
But what they do say is we don't want to go back to the status quo because the status quo is what got us here. And that's what they're trying to say is we need a change. So after this critical chaos time, after we've been through demoralization of about 20 years. Now we've got destabilization of about 2 to 5 years. You go into this chaotic crisis mode that's only a few months. Aren't we seeing that? I mean, yes, it's been a year, but it's very fast. The takeover is very fast. And
Mm-hmm.
then you go into what's called normalization. Everybody thinks normalization means the normalization of the LGBTQ and all this. That was demoralization. Normalization is, okay, we don't need those people anymore. We've used them. And you're seeing that. They're starting to turn on each other now. We're starting to see these movements, the Black Lives Matter and some of these other movements, turn on each other. And that's what's going to happen because they're what's called useful idiots. I didn't make up that term. It's been around for decades. But the useful idiots are the people they use, the media, the non-organic governmental created groups like Black Lives Matter, for instance. They're not needed anymore, so they're going to push that out, and they're going to say this is how we're going to do it. And also that usually involves militarization or martial law. So with all these Q people pushing martial law, I mean, they don't know what they're saying. They don't understand how bad that is for us. But that this Davos, I'm not going to bore you guys with the whole 4 day thing because I didn't go over the whole 4 day thing, but their introduction to it with that video that I shared basically is talking about this normalization, that everything has to be reset, that they even admit that their slogan is bad. They even say that it sounds like some elite group taking over. And then they show the sunglasses from They Live and the Obey thing. Like they're almost mocking us at the same time that they're trying to act like they're with us. I'm not exactly sure. But they even say people will expect this as a conspiracy, but the world is not that simple. And what they are trying to say is they want. Let me see if I can remember how they said it. They wanted us to have a. I may have, stakeholder capitalism is what they called it. So they're saying it's still capitalism, but we'll have a stake in it. We'll be stakeholders in this, and we'll all get to come together. And then they warn that climate change is about to dwarf what happened with the pandemic. So if you guys think that this is all just going to go back to normal because you wore your mask or you got your shot, and I don't really think that's anybody in the chat, but that's people we know. It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to. It's just not going to. They even admit, and at this point of normalization, they'll redistribute all our wealth, and and so this is why we tell you guys about crypto. This is why we tell you guys about gold and silver, because there's a chance, and we read the scriptures because we know even in the tribulation that we might be protected in cities of refuge or areas of refuge, and we might have a better chance if we fix our currency problems now by not depending on currency so that we don't accidentally, and I say accidentally loosely, but take a mark that we could destroy our soul. Maybe we're
Mm-hmm.
not there yet, but we're trying to get prepared. Anyway, I've been going on for a while, so if you have something you want to say about all the things I've kind of mentioned, I'll turn it back to you for a moment and then we'll kind of keep going with this.
Yeah, no, this is why I love doing these shows with you, because while I'm working on, other things, you're cluing me in on all of this knowledge and all of these shows and all that are really forecasting, and it's the elites, hiding things in plain sight. And so, with you talking about these things and really bringing them to my knowledge, that's helping me as well as everybody else that's listening in to be able to go and check it out for themselves. So, yeah, no, I'm very grateful and appreciative for your insight into all of these different things. And I'm very much looking forward to watching this show. Matter of fact, after we're done here, I'm going to look up that Mr. Robot and begin that because I'm very interested in the whole scenario of that because certainly this is what we are dealing with. And I definitely think that, the great reset is on the horizon because at some point, something's got to give. We can't continue with $30 trillion. At some point, it's going to be bankruptcy and restructuring. So when who knows when they'll allow that to play out, but they do have a plan already to, and a long time ago I heard about the Amero, which could be a replacement currency in whatever form that takes digital or hybrid or whatever. But we'll see. And so yeah, very very interesting. But um, I'm glad that as far as the cryptocurrencies, that at least with the blockchain and with this digital revolution, as far as even with the internet, how beneficial the internet was for transforming and making truth available in the manner that it was. Because certainly I didn't know anything about the New World Order and government sponsored terror and all these different things, even though there had been much material written by the elites, even H.G. Wells, the New World Order in 1984 and books of that nature. But um, there was an underpinning of truth that was revealed on the internet, which shifted the conscious of the world to such a degree that many are awakening to things that have never been considered before. And I do believe without a doubt that this is the Most High's, even though we also have a satanic side to the whole information age, and Satan utilizing technology to spy, keep track on, and that the New World Order is also tapping into that capacity to monitor, track and trace everybody. And they want to be able to do this from the time that a person is born into the world to the time that they die and leave it. Um, but there's also been great benefit as well, and so there's been a good and an evil side to everything, and everything can be used as a tool. And so I think it's the same with blockchain, and that people just can't generalize all digital currencies or Bitcoin or the whole platform of it as being negative or connected to the mark of the beast or whatever. That I think again it's a tool, and that it can be used for good or evil depending on intent. In the same way with the internet and everything, even a car is a tool. It can get you from point A to point B, but if you use it to run over somebody and you have the intent to harm, or if you're drunk and incapacitated, then yeah, it could lead to crime, or to murder, vehicular homicide, or something of that nature. And same thing with a gun or a knife. You can, depending on one's intent and how you use it, it could be for good or for evil. And so that's with everything. And I think that there is great benefit that God is also providing. Yah is providing opportunity for those of us that are, it's the same way with the internet, that we utilize the internet in the early days to learn and to gain insight and knowledge. And in the same manner, we can use this to benefit us, to really create a store of value, where just having, because even though I love precious metals, and they have been, and they played a really important part in providing a lot of people with a store of value, in especially during the past 2 decades, it's difficult to transport and even to contain and to store huge amounts of precious metals. And so in that manner, digital currencies can really aid in people being able to move, even to transfer money and sums of wealth across borders, nations, or to other sides of the world, and send them, transacting them in instants with very low fee, which is something that has not been practical, or that the world has been able to do. I mean, Western Union, MoneyGram, it's been very expensive to send money and to help, even for people that come from different nations here to America, and that work in order to help their families back in their own countries. Um, this is something that it can benefit even those scenarios, and so there I think there's a lot of positive to again to cryptocurrencies, and especially with being able to benefit, like even a lot of those coins that I told people about at the very beginning when we started, even the shows that you and I have been doing. It's insane the amount of gains that people have seen in a lot of these cryptocurrencies. Even those two that I told you about have like 6 times over what they were at when I first told you about them. So, and we're still at the beginning of the race when that this is still based on 1% of the population even participating in this form of investing. So a lot of opportunities still.
Well, okay. So what you said about I want to get back to some. I took a couple notes on what you said so I wouldn't forget about using some things for good and something for bad. Well, for sure, our phones and our TVs and our computers and our tablets are black mirrors. If you don't know what a
Hmm.
black mirror is, you do. But for anybody in the audience, if you don't know what a black mirror is, it's a scrying mirror, which is what Mirror Mirror on the Wall was, and it's a way to that witches or the occult would use an actual black backed mirror to relax their eyes and to just kind of let go of their focus. I mean, does that sound familiar, right? On our
Oh
phones
yeah,
and our tablets.
right. Yeah, fully.
And so, but we use them. We're on a computer right now using the internet. We use our phones, but that's, we, I'm sure you're like me. We pray protection. And if I feel like there's demonic activity through my electronics, I pray against it and I cancel it and I reject it. But they're
Hmm.
making phones with organic layers now. They're making TVs with organic layers. And I say, I think there's maybe a time we don't update our phones anymore and our TVs because this organic layer is even, what is it, Ghost in the Shell or Ghost in the Machine? I think it was Ghost in the
Yes,
Machine,
yes.
where there was
Right,
demonic things flowing through our TVs and all our electronics and everything like that.
right.
And I think the more sophisticated it gets, it will just be more easily taken over with demonic entities so that Satan can be omnipresent. He cannot be omnipresent at this time. He wants to see everything and know everything. Like, and you mentioned that, like keeping track of everything that we're doing, and that's part of this. Whether it's a chip, whether it's programmable matter, because programmable matter will make people superconductors. That's why they'll be a mark because they'll absolutely have no control, they'll have absolutely no control over their own bodies anymore, over their own minds, and they'll be able to be controlled from another machine far away from them. You also mentioned these cryptocurrencies, and one thing that I'm going to happily plug my company with is that you talked about carrying around gold and silver, and I'm also into cryptocurrencies, thankfully, really because of you, Zen. I've gotten into it and started to learn about it and gotten pretty excited about it. But also, what
Good.
our company did for the gold and silver aspect is they created what's called a sound money wallet. While it looks digital,
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
they do actually fund a vault. And so when I buy gold and silver eagles, it's all eagles. So I think I have one gold eagle. I've finally got there. I've got 1 ounce of gold eagle
Awesome.
in that vault. And if I want them to send it to me, they'll send me the gold eagle. Or I can cash it out to cash immediately if I need the cash. So they've created a way where I don't have to store it myself. And a person can say, well, why would I trust this company? Well, you just have to believe me that I know these guys. And
Hmm.
I've been to the vault. I've been to Idaho Falls where they have their whole corporate office. And I know the owners. I know them personally and I do trust them. So we have the ability now to store it there based on gold and silver eagles. And Zen, I don't think you knew this and I don't think anyone else knew this, but we were the only company in the world during the GameStop whole shenanigans and the silver squeeze. We were the only gold and silver company that was still selling silver eagles when everybody shut down. The only
Wow.
one in the world because of
Wow.
this wallet, which tells you that these guys saved up a lot of gold and silver eagles
Right.
to be
Yeah.
able to pull this off. And
Yeah, and to be able to provide the awesome spot price. But
Well,
yeah, most were
there's still a
affected.
premium, but it's better. It's still better than any premium everywhere else. We're still $4 to $5 less for Silver Eagle when it
Hmm.
comes to silver. Now, gold doesn't have that massive premium like silver does right now, but that's a forced squeeze. And if everybody doesn't know, GameStop and the Robinhood thing, that was the first step. And then they said, okay, we're going to put the squeeze on silver. Now, I don't know if it's organic or not, but it's made it so that everybody's buying up silver. And when people go, well, don't, I can't find it. I don't know why I go to your website and you don't have anything. I'm like, well, we do, but you have to buy it in the Sound Money wallet because everybody's buying up everything. So there's
Yes.
still a way to do it with our 7K metals. I did drop your link. So if somebody's going, what are you talking about, the 7K metals? Zen Garcia is a member and he does have a link that you can check out. But if you don't, there's several of us that do, but that's not really the point. I'm not trying to plug it in that way. More what I'm trying to do is say that that's turned into a kind of digital format that you mentioned. But that's it's kind of all I wanted to say on that. But getting back to Mr. Robot too, I'll also mention you probably will enjoy it because there's so much to it. There's so many conspiracies in it that are true. What frustrates me is they are very true conspiracies, and yet you and I will get our videos either taken down or shadow banned, or we're at risk of losing our whole channel because we talk about them. Yet these shows are filled with the very stuff that we want to talk about.
Right.
There's
Right.
definitely MK Ultra kind of stuff going on in there. There's a lot to do with China. Just so much. I'm like, oh, it's just a very truth telling show. But back to the Davos event, that is over. Of course, it was only a 4-day event. They do that once a year, kind of like all these other, like what's called Basel. They do for the gold and silver, not just gold and silver commodities. And by the way, just I don't know if you know, but they're now trading water as a commodity on Wall Street.
That does not surprise me at all, because I do know that it was just a couple decades back where, the elites were wanting um, to buy up and to purchase a lot of the springs in the various parts of the world in order to make water a commodity. And it reminds me of even that movie Total Recall, where they
Oh
basically
yeah,
also trade air, that they had pipes um,
that's right.
bringing in the air and they could shut it off at any time and kill off populations. I mean, it's how extreme it is, just craziness.
Yeah, there's an article here that says the Wall Street has begun trading. I shared the article in the chat, but it says Wall Street has begun trading water as a commodity like gold or oil. And gold should not
Wow.
be a commodity, it should be money, but that's where we are. The country's first water market launched on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange this week with 1.1 billion in contracts tied to water prices in California. The market allows farmers, hedge funds, and municipalities to hedge bets. And this is what it is. It's just a gamble. That's not for us little guys, as Robin Hood proved. It's for the
Right.
hedge fund guys. Hedge bets on the future price of water and water availability in the American West. Now,
Wow.
isn't that something?
That is crazy.
We're there,
Mm.
folks. And we look at what's going on in Texas right now with this destructive weather and the blackouts, the rolling blackouts, where they're purposely turning off people's power. I don't like to say power. I like to say electricity. I need to start saying this again, and I used to say it on my channel a lot. Was I want to bring power back to your life? That's what the gold and silver was always meant to be. But don't let them have your power. It's just electricity. And find ways around it. Find survival ways, like find ways to solar energize or get a wood stove, or so many things that we can do, even simpler than that, that they don't get to take our power. And now they want to sell our water as hedge funds and bets on Wall Street. And that's it. I don't want anyone to get frustrated because what I have to do is just say, what can I do for me and my family? I can't change the world. I can't change what's happening in it. But what can I do for me and my family and those with ears to hear? And we're doing it. We're here on this channel. I'm on my channel, and we're trying to teach people and help people. We're not infomercials. We're trying to get you guys in a position that will be good for you, not to try to outlive the last days and be like that movie, The Road, where the only people on earth is, a handful of people, but so that we don't know how much time we have. We don't know the hour and we don't know the day. And since today is not the day, at least today we can do more with our money and our currency than we might be able to tomorrow. And that's why we're teaching you guys about cryptocurrency. And I mostly talk about precious metals. Another thing about this, they're creating what's called a carbon currency. And so they want to have this carbon budget. And this is a way of increasing your taxes without telling you, is to make you feel bad about what you're doing to the earth. And this is part of the Davos stuff, because what Davos is they're trying to pretend to change the world to make it better, but they really don't care about you and me. This is part of it. I have an article, and it says introducing the world's first tradable carbon token, and I'll share this link with everybody in the chat in case anybody's interested. But this carbon token they're another form of their kind of cryptocurrency. They're taking this technology and they're trying to, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin and Ethereum or any of these stable coins are fallen angel technology. Maybe that is, but the point is it can be used for good and bad, like you already mentioned. But this is one of those cases where now it's a carbon token that you can buy and hold and sell tokenized carbon credits. Now, I don't know if you saw the most recent interview with Bill Gates, but with Bill Gates and Anderson Cooper, who is what is this? The Vanderbilt. He's a Vanderbilt, where Bill Gates says, I have the biggest carbon footprint in the world of anybody with all my little private flights. I mean, he's admitting it while eating a cheeseburger, telling us that we don't get to eat meat anymore and that we need to offset our carbon footprint. And so this is part of it, this carbon token that they're trying to make, I guess, the environmentalists get excited about a crypto. It's all a way to get us all into crypto. I think it'll happen like Mr. Robot, though. Well, everything will crash. I mean, spoiler alert, I've kind of spoiled some of this for you, but everything will crash and it will force us into a crypto. I really tried to make a video out of one part of that where they're saying, now you can use the eCoin, and everywhere is TVs with the news going over and over and over throughout the show. You'll notice every time they're doing anything, there's a TV on with the news constantly. And they're always talking about this crash of the eCoin and everything that's going on. The dollar becomes pointless and they have to use their eCoins even in everywhere they're going. They can use eCoins, and you can have it on your app now. You just need the QR code. And I think the show's from 2015, so pretty relevant. But anyway, wanted to mention that as this COVID stuff is happening, this is increasing our AI technology. And so these things can get pushed, kind of like in Mr. Robot where they crash the system, but this is crashing it with a virus. And now with the carbon token and you feeling bad and wanting to offset your carbon footprint, it's going to be a way to get you hooked into their QR code, their coins, everything, and increase the AI technology significantly, because now you and I are also a biohazard. So that's different from the show Mr. Robot, where that was just a hacker crash. This is where we're biohazards. We can't touch anything. We can't handle anything. So it's increasing the need for robots to deliver packages. It's increasing the need for driverless cars. It's increasing the need for driverless trains, and for us to just kind of sit back and enjoy utopia, right? Where we get to have all this free time and we get to have universal basic income, and we get to do our art and play golf. And that's not really what it's going to be, because that utopia is actually going to be a dystopia, and it's going to create that redistributed wealth where we're going to be like, I don't remember what movie, but we talk about movies and shows. There was some movie I watched where all the people that didn't take part were on the outside of this wall, and they're starving and they're barely warm enough, and they want to get inside the wall, and they want to have, it might have been, oh geez, I'm not going to think of it.
Allegiant.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's an older show.
Yes, that was a great 3-part series. Yeah, love that whole series.
There's such truth in these movies, right? And so that's what you're really going to see. You're not going to have this time to play golf and do your art. You're going to really be you're either going to be a part of it and get in the game and have the nice job in the cush seat and take your vaccine and take your programmable mat, take your pill that dumbs you down, or you're going to be out there on the outskirts and they're not going to let you in. And I hope that most of us will not be afraid of being on the outskirts. I hope that most of us, maybe by then gold and silver and crypto won't mean anything, but this is what we're preparing for. We're preparing our hearts and our minds and our souls for a situation that could become that severe. So anyway, I'll turn it back to you for a minute, and I've got a few other things we can still talk about.
Yeah, this particular three-part movie, it was also one of them was Divergent, and it broke down all the different groups in society in these different groups, and one of those that did not fit in and that was uncontrollable was this divergent group, and that whenever a person was found to have this divergent behavior or demeanor, these people were dangerous to the control of society, and so they were targeted, and would want to be gotten rid of. And certainly, in my opinion, this is exactly what we see in the world today, that those that do not just follow the sheep and that aren't cattled into being just the hive mind, the good worker bee and the good tax paying citizen, and um, just go about doing what the elites tell you. Go get your education and then get your job where you're working for the system, and you play by the rules, and you never, you watch your go to work, get home, heat up your microwave dinners, and then watch TV until you go to sleep, and then get up and do the whole thing again, and you never question the reality or uh, entertain the larger reasons for our being here and for what all of this is about. And so most people just kind of wandered through life almost zombified, like never questioning or guessing as to anything larger. And it's excuse me, unfortunate, sort of like the Matrix movies, where you have all those people um, that break away and unplug themselves and come to knowledge and come to insight on things that most people don't know about and aren't even considering. And so I think there is something to all of that, there's people here. And I think that the Bible calls, those that have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, and a mind to understand. They're referred to as the elect, the elect of God. And so there's something very real to that whole scenario and what's going on, um, with the backdrop of, again, the whole, what I call the great contest, the battle between good and evil, and the children of Adam and the children of Cain, and how most everybody else caught up in the middle, that they're just wandering blindly, and it's the blind leading the blind, unfortunately.
There's a multitude of TV shows and movies that speak to it, but it kind of almost becomes too much when I kind of stopped trying to break them down after a while. And I'm just, now when I just see it, I go, oh, there it is. There was even some
Yeah,
really cheesy one called Iron Sky, and it was really, I mean, it was, everything was in there. The reptilians, the Agartha, and Hollow Earth. And I just was like, gosh, this show is telling it all. And it's just a super cheesy, poorly done movie. But of course, it's always still like the shapeshifters in the end who are the good guys. And,
right.
it's all comes down to the demiurge and Lucifer. And that's really a lot of their belief. And honestly, some people don't really know that they're worshiping Satan. They really don't know
Right.
that.
Right.
They're either worshiping themselves or they're worshiping Lucifer. And I don't know if you've ever listened to Mark Passio, but he talks about a lot of Satanists are, and he used to be one, really worship themselves. There's a big love of self,
Hmm.
and can't see that, right? I mean, they said it in the garden that you
Right.
can be as God, and to
Yes,
want to be
exactly.
Right. And to want to be immortal here on Earth, to want to have the light body here on Earth, to want to have the superpowers, as you mentioned, here on Earth with a programmable matter or special DNA that can do that for us. And when I first was researching this, and I sat with my mom, and I still believe the Earth was round back then. So we're going back a ways, not too far, but we're going back a ways. And I was sitting with her, and I said, "What?" She's a nurse, and I was in the medical field as a PA. I said, "What would make a person just want a vaccine?" And she's sitting there with me, and we're talking, and we're both like, cancer, a cure for cancer, right?
Yeah, right.
And that's where I, realized that that's what the whole story of Venom is, where he accepts
Yeah.
and has to invite in this symbiotic relationship with a clearly evil guy that didn't fit in on his evil planet because everybody else there was so evil that he just wasn't quite as evil. Where they would usually kill their host, but he didn't want to kill his host. He wanted to be his friends with his host. So he gets to take over the body, become this powerful entity that helps the guy in what he's trying to do. And then now Venom's somehow a good guy, but he cures the character's cancer, and we're going to see that promises. You'll
Mm.
see it in music videos, promises of superpowers, and always music videos with the black, the red, the white, the black, white, red, and gold of the Hermetic alchemy and the ascension with the stairs and the ladders and the escalators. And the reason, and if anyone's wondering, since I brought it up, the colors of black, white, red, and gold is the black as well. They're in the Hermetic alchemy sense of ascension of the Luciferian worship duality world. Is the black is when your eyes are still closed. White is illumination, right? Kind of waking up to the truth. Red is acceptance, and gold is you've ascended, you've made it. And so you'll see these colors used over and over and over again in music videos, sometimes in movies for sure. We broke it down in Utopia, kind of the use of the red color, but it's definitely the green is involved in this too. Purple is involved in it, but often you'll always see black, white, red, and gold used together, just like with Mickey Mouse. He's black, white, red, and gold, but you'll see
Mhm.
it in these, and that's their belief is they're ascending into something greater. And so, like you said, is people won't question this greater thing they can become, except for they'll come to a point where they can choose to reach that point. And it will be very few people. I can't remember if it was, names are going to escape me because I don't have notes, but it's always been part of these Nasera type of things, these new age groups that
Mhm.
want to save the world, Green New Deals. And it was a gal that ran for vice president back in the 80s, and boy, oh boy, her mind's escaping me. But she was saying these various sorts of things that not everyone's going to get to make it to this point, this ascension, this better self, this new age um, duality come together with what they really believe is that the demiurge and Lucifer will come back together in this. Did you ever see the movie The Black? Is it The Black Crystal? The Dark Crystal.
The Dark Crystal.
That
I
movie.
I did a long time ago, but I don't even remember what it was about. But hold on, Erin, we are at break.
Yeah, sorry
Um,
about that. I was
yeah, no
getting
worries.
excited.
We'll be right back, everyone.
As a bookstore for truth seekers, it's our goal to make ancient manuscripts which were once held captive by secretive institutions available for public consideration. In our generation, where wisdom has increased, as Daniel the prophet foretold, we have access to many of the testimonies our early church brethren were persecuted for preserving. After being hidden for centuries, these manuscripts have been leaked from various sources throughout the earth, and it's our goal to gather these sources into printable form to make available for all who seek the ancient way. If you're looking to deepen your studies of the biblical narrative, find these ancient manuscripts and more at sacredwordpublishing.com.
truth seekers are constantly studying alone. But there is a place where we can come together. The Digital Readers Club is our online ecclesia meant for those who've forsaken churchianity but still want the closeness of a family to study with. Join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to put together the puzzle pieces of truth scattered throughout the ancient scriptures. Every day, questions arise.
Are the stories in the Bible true?
What if I told you that there are hundreds of confirming witnesses,
which give intricate detail to the stories in the Bible?
Have you ever found yourself deep in the rabbit hole with questions that no one seemed to have the answers to? Join us the second Friday of every month at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for our Ask Me Anything series with author and researcher Zen Garcia, as he sheds light on the mysteries which have us all searching together.
I did want to mention at some point in the show this evening, I'm going to kind of go over once more, especially for those that are new, because there's been a lot of interest in the Cryptos for Ding Dongs group, and we have been compiling up a huge now email list to send out new information. But we have started the Discord channel as well, and we will be doing our first broadcast on February 28th at 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. So those of you that would like to join, and if you'd like to ask questions directly, but this evening at some point I'm going to go over the basics of what you will need to do in order to get started in this particular platform, and with being able to purchase with fiat, to transform what is your fiat money, your dollars that are sitting in the bank that the bank is basically charging you to hold, and then using to make money for themselves, that you can then turn that scenario around and actually put that money to work for yourself by holding different cryptocurrencies that all pay different rates of interest depending on which wallet you are holding. And for those that are, really new to the space and don't understand, I'm going to just go over the very basic steps so that you can gain entry and you can go ahead and start utilizing and putting to work the whatever money you want to place into the market, into this particular platform. But that immediately, any one of you out there, I mean, it doesn't take even a lot of staking at all. I mean, even if you can only afford to put $10 a month in, do that. It can make a big difference. There was just even December 16th when we did the first show, I had recommended at that time just 5 coins. People had asked me if there was $1,000 that you had, and again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is all for entertainment purposes only. The things that I'm talking about are things that I would do for myself. Certainly, if you want to, do it for yourself, I think that it would be beneficial. But if I had $1,000, the 5 coins that I had mentioned at that time were Ethereum, Bitcoin, DOT, Algo, and then depending a couple of others. And the ones that I made mention of specifically were Atom and Tezos. And the reason I mentioned Algorand, ALGO, um, and Tezos, XTZ, and Cosmos, ATOM, are the you know the names of those particular cryptocurrencies, is because you can hold these in Coinbase and earn interest from 6 to 4.53% interest. And you don't have to have any other wallet. You don't have to buy any other token. Um, and of course, since that time, um, you know, Bitcoin has gone from 20,000 to now is 52,000. And so, that's 1.5 times your money, even if you bought, at the all-time highs on December 16th. And so a lot of people were worried, well, why would I want to buy at all-time highs? And even I sent out just a couple weeks ago about how uh, Ethereum was at an all-time high, but I still recommended people get in because usually what happens is when you do reach these levels, um, whereas most people believe that, okay, we're at all-time highs, that's definitely not a time or a place where we would want to buy. And certainly that, you know, makes sense. And even for me, I like to always buy on days when the markets have corrected and are in the red. However, when you are researching and looking at patterns and you're looking at how, and you understand, you come to know um, about reading the charts, and there are certain patterns, ascending wedges, descending wedges, bull flags, bear flags, these kind of things, that when these patterns play out and they break, those are actually, for advanced traders, those are signals to get in the particular coin, because it should play out to where they have either upside or downside. And you can make money either way. It doesn't matter what the market does. You can place long or short positions, and so you can make money whether the market goes up or down. In a bull market like we are in right now, I believe it's dangerous to short Bitcoin because of the way that it just moves so quickly and it can advance and gain parabolic strength, even as we saw in 2017, but especially now with so much institutional money flooding in. And so for a lot of the people that had sent me emails and that were concerned about getting in the market at these all-time highs, I basically just told them to look for a pullback, even if it's a slight pullback, but that sometimes, and when these patterns break, that you might not get that pullback. And so that's why I think and have talked about dollar cost averaging, that one should not even worry about price, but just pick a particular date of, whether it's every other week or when you get paid, if you get paid biweekly, or every other month, that you just pick a particular time where you're purchasing and just allow it to automatically put you in to the market at a certain amount at a certain time, and don't worry about it, but just allow it to do its thing, and then it will equal out over time. It will purchase sometimes when the market's low and sometimes when the market's higher, but it will average out. Those of you that are a little bit more involved with the market, certainly I would wait for at least a slight correction to purchase. And I do like to be a little bit more tactical with my entries into the market and my exits. But anyways, Erin, I wanted to give you a chance to ask any questions or to talk about even your experience, since you are now have entered into the market, and that you are, um, just what's your take on what you've seen, even in this short bit? I mean, because you've only been part of it since, when?
45 days, about maybe
45
50.
days. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
You made such
So,
great points about, well, sorry, you weren't done. Finish.
no, I was just going to ask you, well, tell us about your experience.
Yeah, I would love to. First, I want to mention you made some good points. I want to reiterate. Basically what you're saying is create good habits. Put in what
Yes.
you can every month. Don't worry. It's just I say the same thing about gold and silver. Don't worry about the spot
Mm-hmm.
price. Buy it,
Right.
because
Yes.
you're trading worthless currency with Illuminati symbolism all over it into money. And that's also what
Exactly.
crypto is. Money means something with a store of value. That's what money is. This paper stuff doesn't have a store of value. It's an IOU. It's literal debt. It's literal debt that we're trading around. And while we're forced to use it, so I'm not totally trying to, I'm not like dollars evil. I mean, they are, but no dollars for anyone. I'm not saying that. We have to use them. I have to use them. I pay rent. I go to the grocery
Right.
store. I have to use dollars, but I have more
Yeah,
of
to
them
live. Right.
because we get into cryptocurrency and gold and silver. So what you said is create good monthly habits. Once a month, twice a month, whatever you can do, put the money into it, whatever you can afford, even if it's $10 or if it's $100 or if it's $500. Just do that on a monthly basis and don't look at the prices. And it's always a good time to buy. You said that too. It's like, don't look at the price, because it's always a good time to buy these things, because they're going to get us out from under the biggest Ponzi scheme, which is the government's thumb. The biggest Ponzi scheme. Now, people say my business is a Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme. And I say, look at what that means. A Ponzi scheme is a company that takes your money and hands it out, loans it out, and hopes that more people coming in will keep the money flowing. Is that not your bank? That's your
Yeah,
bank.
fully.
The bank is taking your money and handing it out and hoping that other people will bring in more money so that it keep them afloat. And we know that if we all ran for our cash, the banks would just crush. And so it would be
Right.
with the silver market if we weren't using futures. So my experience with crypto in the last 50 days has earned me over $700, and I'm not kidding. It's been
Really, that's awesome.
much faster than the gold and silver business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm doing a couple of things. I got the Coinbase wallet. I got into what's called unstoppable domains a while back, because with unstoppable domains, it's blockchain technology for internet. And I was been saying we need to get on unstoppable domains or something like it and create our websites there, so that even if Apple doesn't want to host it or
Yes,
YouTube
yes.
doesn't want to host it, no one can take it down. No
Right.
one.
Yes.
So at least you'd still have the abilities. And they are even on Chrome now and Firefox and all the main browsers that people would use. And so you can earn cryptocurrency through these browsers. And Unstoppable Domains
Right.
is not the only one, but that's one that I like to use, and I had to get a wallet for it for my domain. So I chose Coinbase, and I got into some of the free ones. And then another one I got into is called the I Am Coin, and it's a stable coin. And so the difference, if anyone's wondering, between like the more stable coin, I couldn't have told you this 30 days ago, by the way. I mean, it's been really fun doing this with learning with you. And what I learned about that is it's less like Bitcoin, where it's kind of going up and down, and you're not sure if you can go really buy anything with it because the price changes so much. These coins are intended, there's lots of them out there. You don't have to buy the one
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing, but I chose one, right? And so with that coin being stable, you buy into it a certain price and they hold it for 6 months because they're trying to avoid the pump and dump. But then when I
Right.
want to sell it, I can sell it at 45 cents a coin and about it at 20 cents a coin. So basically,
Nice, nice.
Donna says, "Is anyone as lost as me?" All I'm trying to say is, just by getting into it, not knowing what I was doing, how much I didn't know what I was doing, but the way to learn to do something is to just do it. And so I got
Right.
into it and I started going, okay, I can kind of understand this. And now I've got a bunch of crypto, and I earned $700 in currency, over $725 in currency in
Awesome.
45 days. So
Awesome.
I'm not going to complain about that, right? So that's been my experience. That it's almost exactly like gold and silver. It's creating good habits by getting into a currency that I can actually exchange and use as money because it's got a store of value because it's finite, but also it's always a good time to buy it. And we're getting rid of the evil dollars and the worthless paper to get into something that we can actually utilize. So hope that answers your question.
Yes, yes, and thank you for sharing. Because, 45 days and $700, that's a sizable sum. But with regard to Donna, who's mentioned in the chat room that she's clueless, a lot of people are, and so let me just try to make this simple. I'm going to go over the basic steps of what those of you that have been, excluded from the market, don't know what you're doing, of what you can do to gain entry. The first thing you want to do is open up a Coinbase account, or you can do it through Cash App. And those are the two places. I've never used Cash App, so I can't really go into detail on it. But the reason I recommend Coinbase specifically is because they have a earn section there where you can gain access to a number of different cryptocurrencies, and you can earn those by just watching a few videos and answering questions. And you can also send links to your friends and family that allow them to earn interest, and you benefit off of them doing so, that you will earn an additional $10, and you can earn up to $40 per different cryptocurrency for just having 4 people use your link and earn free crypto themselves. And so it's a win-win. But do know that with the price of Bitcoin and even Ethereum this evening just hit all-time highs as well. It just breached $1,900 a coin. That there's a lot of interest in the cryptocurrency space, and a lot of people are trying to get in, and there's a lot of talk now, about cryptocurrencies, whereas there had not been previously. And so when you join Coinbase, you're now going to have to join a wait list in order to earn those different cryptocurrencies. And so the people that listen to me, even just, 2 months ago, we're only in February. This is like 2.5 months that I began to talk to people about this and decided to do a show on this, that you could join at that time and earn. And many people that told me, that they earned at that time, the money that the cryptocurrencies that they got free have already some doubled, tripled, and quadrupled in value. And so what was, maybe $60 to $100 in cryptocurrency turned out to be $200 to $300, maybe even $400 if you took, if you started, having your friends and family members to also do it and earn the additional free crypto that was available to you. And so that's $300-400 in free money that was just sitting there. All you had to do was open an account, watch a few videos, and earn that crypto. And we've seen a huge exponential gain in the total value of the cryptocurrency markets. Like right now, we are at $1.5 trillion, which is still very small in comparison to other traditional markets. Like the gold market is $17 billion or something of that nature. I mean, it's huge, or $17 trillion. So it's like 17 times the size of the crypto. Well, if we were at 1 trillion, but even just the gold market. And so there's a lot of companies that are on the sidelines that are holding huge reserves of cash. And as I sent out an email just recently about Michael Saylor, the guy from MicroStrategy, who decided to put his whole company's cash reserves into Bitcoin and has benefited greatly from having done so. and has now shared the playbook on how other companies can do so. And he had a gathering February 2nd through the 5th this past month, where Elon Musk and others had come to learn how to do this. And we saw that one day after the Elon Musk financial advisor returned, he put $1.5 billion into Bitcoin, which drove it from 38,000 to $48,000 at that time. And with it being up 4,000, 4 to 10,000 above where he purchased in, he's making huge amounts of money. And so that is going to drive other corporations, especially insurance companies. We saw Mass Mutual put $100 million into Bitcoin, a lot of pension funds, many places that are holding cash reserves are going to start flood this market with money. And so that means those of you that are already in are going to benefit. And the way that the cryptocurrency markets work is that when Bitcoin rises, it has a tendency to elevate everything in the market as well. And so, because Bitcoin is the largest, as far as having the largest market cap of all the other cryptocurrencies, it is literally like 60% of the total, right now 61% of the total cryptocurrency market. And so when it moves upwards, it has a tendency to drive all the other coins which have smaller market cap to increase in value as well. But anyways, and so for those of you that are new, that don't know what to do, very first steps, you're going to want to get a Coinbase account. And then you're going to want to establish your credentials. They're going to require you to upload a picture of your ID and also to provide your information. And if you're not wanting to do that, then you're not going to be able to take care to enter into the space. That's just the way it is, that now the government is requiring Coinbase and other platforms like this to gain all of your, for tax purposes. They want to have all of your KYC, what is know your customer. And they're very careful to not just open up accounts to, criminals or people that don't exist, or, that are using fake IDs or fake credit cards. They're very, very careful about setting up and verifying all of your banking and personal information before they allow you to purchase or to remove cryptocurrencies from their platform. And so it's going to already take you a little time to do that. And so if you are wanting to get into the market, go ahead and do it, because it's going to take some time before they develop trust in you and will allow you to interact with their platform in a way that you can, start moving cryptocurrency off to other exchanges or other wallets where you can gain a larger percent of interest. And so I will tell you about how to do those things as well. But the very first thing is just go ahead, open up a Coinbase account, go to the Earn section, upload your banking and your personal, your ID, that information, go to the Earn section and join the wait list for earning those free cryptocurrencies. And visit them, in a week's time or whatever, just to see if you've been approved. And then if you have been, watch the videos, get your free crypto. Because if you get it now, in a year down the road, that crypto that you have, that you gain for free, it could literally be worth hundreds of dollars in just a few months. I mean, just think if they were giving away free Bitcoin, which, they were giving away at one time free Algorand, ALGO, which earns you 6% interest on Coinbase. It's one of those that you can purchase, and that I believe is going to do really well and has done really well. This one, I'll just tell you the prices of the 3 that you can buy in Coinbase, as to where they were when in December 16th. Algorand was 20 cents a coin. This is the one that pays you 6% interest. It just hit $1.90 the other day. I think it's like $1.40 right now or something. And so this coin has already earned you 8 times over what you could have got it for just 2 months ago. The other coin, Cosmos, ATOM, this coin was $5 a token, and it is now almost $20 a token. So it has quadrupled the value of whatever you would have had put in at the time. The other one, Tezos, XTZ, this token was $2 a coin, just 10 weeks ago, 2.5 months ago. It was $2 a coin, and it's now over $5 a coin. So a good 1.5 times your money. But again, Algorand, I think, of all those 3, still has the greatest upside and the greatest potential. And common sense would tell you this, because it is paying 6% interest. Tezos is only paying 4.53% interest. And Atom, Cosmos, is paying 5% interest. And so the cheapest coin of those 3 is paying a higher percent interest. That doesn't make sense. And the only reason it is like this is because Algorand has only been available on Coinbase for a few months. I think maybe 3.5 months, 4 months, whereas the other 2 coins have been available for 6 months, maybe longer. Tezos, I think, maybe even a year. And so those coins have been on Coinbase for longer. They have had more people invest in them, which is why the prices have accrued to where they are now. But Algorand, again, is paying greater percent interest, but is cheaper than all of the other ones. And so that's the one that I recommend that people, purchase. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. That's what I did for myself. I decided to hold some algo, ALGO, and you can get that one in Coinbase without having to open up any other wallet, or open up any other accounts with exchanges, anything else other than doing this one step. And just doing this one step, you can benefit greatly. Just even if you were to just purchase this one coin, and make this your one purchase every month. Yeah, even though I have told people, if you had $1,000, get some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, some Polkadot, which has also gone from $4 to $32 a hit today. So that one's also like 8x your money. But anyways, even if you don't do that, just buy some Algorand, which is still cheap. It's like $1.50 per coin. You'll get 6% interest, and it's been increasing in value. And it doesn't take a lot of money. Even the price of, if you just cut out one dinner, or even going out for fast food, it can cost you $20, especially if you have kids. And so just putting away just one meal, you could get you, let's see, that would be 3, 6, 9. So 6, almost 7 Algorand per $10. So you could get you about 14 for, for $20 every month, and just let it add up. And so it doesn't take a lot of money. And there are a lot of coins on Coinbase as well that are still in, 20 and 30 cents, like Algorand had once been. And two of those coins, which I think are going to do really well, are District Ox. And I'll actually tell you how much these coins are. Just for people that only have Coinbase wallets, and you don't have any other, access, because the other exchanges are where you can buy a lot of, tokens that you can't get on Coinbase. But just the ones on Coinbase have been going up and gaining value, and it's because a lot of people only have Coinbase, so they only have that selection to choose from. And so, the coins that are available on Coinbase, I'll just read a few. I'll read the top 10, then I'll tell you the ones that are cheapest that you have a chance to go into. Bitcoin is now 52,199. It went up 4.52% just today. Ethereum is now $1,906. It went up 7.33% today. Litecoin, the number 3 coin, LTC, is $234 a coin. It went up 9.87% just today. And so, Wall Street talks about how 9 to 11% gains over a year, how that's a good year for them. You're getting 10% in one day in the cryptocurrency markets. And so, your investment can grow nicely, multiply incredibly over, even just like what Erin was saying, in just 45 days, she's increased $700 in value. Bitcoin Cash is $724 a coin. It went up 2.68% today. Chainlink, which I do love Chainlink, I think it's going to do well. It's $33 a token. It went up 6.4% today. Stellar Lumens, XLM, is 50 cents a token, just 50 cents. It went up 4.92% today. Then you have Uniswap, which is $22 a coin. It went up 9.34% today. So, it almost gained 10% today. You have Aave, which is $468 a token. It went up 12.65% today. And I had told you Cosmos, this is the token that you can earn 5% on Coinbase. It went down 0.17%, and it's actually $24.28. And so it's $4 more than what I thought it was. And so, Tezos is XTZ. It's $4.68 right now. So it went down a little bit. It went up 4.97%. I'm going to tell you about a few that I think from Coinbase, just only having Coinbase, that I think are going to do really well and that you could benefit from. One is called The Graph. The Graph. They take data and tables and apply it to blockchain and make adding that data incredibly easy on blockchain. And so a lot of blockchain and platforms are utilizing them and their data set. And so they're only $2.27 a coin right now. They gained 15.32% today. And this coin, if you look at it over, just even maybe 2 weeks, it was less than $1 just maybe even a week ago. It was like 60 cents and this one's only been available on Coinbase for just maybe about a month now. It's one of the coins you can earn for free in doing the Coinbase earn. And so the graph, GRT, one of those that I think will do well. Again, I already told you about Algorand, which is one of my favorites on Coinbase, and not just on Coinbase, but it's one of my favorite coins altogether. ALGO, and it pays 6% interest on Coinbase. It's only $1.42 a coin. It went up 9.3% just today. And so, this is one of those that you don't have to spend a lot of money to get into, and it could benefit you greatly. A couple of other ones that I think will do very well and that are still relatively cheap. Civic, CVC. It's 44 cents a coin on Coinbase. I think this one will do really well. And it went up 2.76% just today. Another one, Orchid, OXT. It's only 61 cents a coin, and it went up 3.5% today. And then there's one other one. Even if you don't do anything but maybe buy some of this Civic, Orchid, and this other one I'm going to mention, District Ox, DNT. It's 32 cents a coin right now, and it went up 2.26% today. And so those three coins are, right around and even less than 50 cents a coin, half $1. I mean, for the price of, a drink or some candy at the grocery store, you can own this coin, which could go to several dollars a coin down the road. And so why not? Why not? And instead of just holding dollars in a bank, why not have some cheap cryptocurrency like this that has the potential, like Algorand and others, to go up to several dollars a coin that could greatly benefit you. And so if you don't do anything other than just open up a Coinbase account, you have a number of coins that I think will do well at your access. And so for those of you that don't want to do a lot, that's the one thing you can do. You just open up a Coinbase account, establish your credentials, link your bank account. You can link your bank account or your debit card. If you're afraid to link your bank account, open up another bank account that's dedicated only to cryptocurrency and fund that bank account with only the money that you are willing to use for this space. And then, that way you don't have to expose all of your assets, or, if you're concerned in any way, if you think that they're going to, tamper with or mess with your money, which they haven't. I've been a longtime member of Coinbase and have never had a problem or had a fraudulent charge or, unwarranted charge, nothing of that nature. And then also once you do establish a rapport with them, when you purchase your cryptocurrency, you will be able to move it out immediately. They will develop a trust with you to where, new customers are being forced to hold their cryptocurrency in Coinbase for a period of time before they can actually move it onto an exchange or transfer it to another place to where they can purchase other cryptocurrencies or earn, um, you know, other rates of interest. Because whereas Coinbase only pays you interest on those three coins and then on a few stable coins like USDC and DAI, I think they pay you 2% interest on that stable coin. And then the US dollar coin, they pay like less than 1% interest, something of that nature. But if you were to transfer the US dollar coin or DAI to, for instance, like a Celsius account, which I also recommend people open up a Celsius account, and we'll provide, I'll provide all my referrals for these, because if you open up a Celsius account or even a Coinbase account, you can get free crypto for doing so, and I also will benefit from you having done so as well. $10, even though it's not a lot, $10 in free Bitcoin back when it was $6,000 a coin is like now, $100 or so or whatever, because of the increase in gains. So if Bitcoin goes to $1 million a coin, which I think it possibly has the potential, that $10 in free crypto could really be a substantial amount of money. I also tell you about different places you can go to earn free cryptocurrencies. I've been sending out links to an app called Fold, which allows you to spin a wheel and you can earn what are called Satoshis, which are the smallest increment of Bitcoin out there. But you can earn, you spin this wheel once a day and you can gain, 100, 500, 10,000. There's even 1 million Satoshis on this wheel, and just in which that's a full Bitcoin, 1 million Satoshis. But anyways, just this past weekend, which is the first I heard of it, but one of my friends had told me that some woman had won and hit the 1 million Satoshi on this wheel just from spinning it every day. And that's a full Bitcoin. So she got a free $52,000 just from, spinning this wheel. And so, and also if you do it every day, after 7 days, you get automatically 500 Satoshis. And so it adds up. It's free Bitcoin. There's also a CryptoTab browser, which you can use to gain free Bitcoin just by searching the web, doing your regular internet stuff. There's Presearch, Presearch, which is an internet browser. Well, actually, it's a search engine that allows you to search like you're doing regular on Google or Bing or DuckDuckGo, which I don't like to use Google or Bing because they support Google and Microsoft. And I know they're tracking and tracing and collecting all of our information, so I don't want to help them. And so I use Presearch, and you can earn free cryptocurrency just by using this search engine. And you can, sign up for free. So it's free crypto for, doing what you're going to be doing anyways. And then there's this Fold app that, that I just told you about, where you can spin once a day. And if you use my referral link, you'll also get 5,000 Satoshis for free. And so, it's a win-win situation. I don't get anything as far as you using my referral, but to give you 5,000 free Satoshis, it makes me feel good, So I want to help you to gain as much free cryptocurrencies as possible, especially for those of you that don't have a lot of money or availability. There are things you can do. There's another app that I send out and link to all of my friends. It's called the Pi Network, PI, and it's a cryptocurrency that you can download this app to your phone, and you just start it once a day. You just click the mine button, and it will mine Pi for you, and you will accrue this particular cryptocurrency over time. And the more people you tell about it, if you tell 5 people about it, you become, instead of a miner, a pioneer, and then an ambassador, and you start mining at higher rates. So you're gaining all this free cryptocurrency. Um, Currently, it does not have a monetary value, but it will at some point. And so, just like Bitcoin started out, nobody knew it was going to be $52,000 a coin. Um, and this network has been started by a Stanford professor and now has 10 million users on it. And so there's a lot of uses, and they're expanding the use case scenario of this Pi network. But right now you can mine it for free. And I had one of my friends tell me about it. And so I started to send out the link, and now we have a sizable group. I think we're like 39 people, but we're all earning free cryptocurrency. And why not, when all you have to do is start the app on your phone? And so I'll be sending in all of that information is found on the Discord. You can go and read literally all the emails I've been sending to everybody going back to December when we started the Cryptos for Ding Dongs group. And remember, February 28th, 1:30 p.m., we're going to have our first live broadcast. And I'm going to be telling you at that time about yield farming. And yield farming, you can literally earn like 500 to 600% APY. It's really, it's incredible. And it's only because they're trying to get people to utilize some of the new tokens or the new websites. And so they're offering just incredible, amounts of return on investment. And so, and the reason they can do that is because, their cryptocurrencies, they're developing these coins, and the coins for them are free. And so even though they will later have value, it's not costing them anything to give some out. And so if you are in on a project early, you can gain access to those tokens while they are very inexpensive, and also, earn greater return on your investment in the early stages of any cryptocurrency project. Just like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they were at one time, pennies on the dollar, and then they reached $1, and then $2, and then $10 and $20, and now Bitcoin's $52,000 a coin, and Ethereum is $1,900 a coin. And so who's to say that some of these other coins won't reach those kind of, highs? There's already many projects out there that, like Bitcoin, are incredibly valuable. For instance, I'll tell you about one called, and then I'll turn this back over to you, Erin, in just a minute. But there's another coin called Yearn Finance, YFI. This project is currently $45,388 a coin. And the reason it is because there's only a few thousand of them available. And so they've kept the supply really low. And they have an incredible use case scenario. They are part of the whole decentralized financial system, where they provide liquidity for certain coins, and they also lend to larger institutions, banks, just like Celsius does, which Celsius is like a cryptocurrency bank, and that's why they're able to pay high percentage in interest for the different cryptocurrencies that you hold with them. And, I was saying about the stable coins, instead of having them in Coinbase, if you transfer them to Celsius and just open a wallet with them, you can earn 13% interest on these stable coins. And so why not? Instead of holding them in Coinbase, why not open up a different wallet, transfer them to there, and earn 13% on, and these are stable coins, so they won't go down in value, they won't increase in value, but you'll get steady 13% interest, and that's over a year, but you'll be getting a payout every Monday. They pay weekly. And so, just doing those two things, you can greatly benefit. But there are literally many, many other things that I'm telling people about that can benefit you, and you don't have to put any money in. But you can earn a lot of these things for free. And so, those of you that don't have a lot of money or have just a little bit, you can still take part in the space, and it can really benefit you. And as I said, many of these coins, even in just 6 weeks' time, since we've seen a flood of money, or 10 weeks' time, many of these coins have tripled, quadrupled, 7x in value in 10 weeks. I mean, where else can you gain that kind of increase in return on your investment? Nowhere. Especially not legally. And so, Erin?
Yes, I've been chomping at the bit to respond.
Sorry, I got a little
No, it's
long-winded,
good. It's
yeah.
good. And I like so much of what you say, and I want to answer a few questions that go along with what you said. Kevin says, if the grid goes down, what do you do? Well, if the grid goes down, Kevin, you're going to have a lot more problems than gold, silver, crypto, or dollars.
Right,
So
right.
don't ask a question that doesn't apply unless you understand what you're asking. And I understand that question because I used to ask it myself. So I'm not putting you down, Kevin. It's a good question. I used to
Mhm.
say that myself. Well, I got my gold and silver. I don't need no crypto because the grid's going to go down. I'm like, well, if the grid goes down, I'm going to have so many more problems than
Right,
the
exactly, yes.
cryptocurrency or the gold and the silver or and then somebody said what good a lot of good crypto is doing in Texas right now. Well, those people, if they had the ability, the internet's not down all over the world. They would be able to get to their crypto. In fact, I'll tell you what, people are acting like their internet's down, but they're still using their phones and they're still on Facebook. Plenty of people are reporting from Texas from their phones.
Hmm.
But what are they going to do with crypto? And the same idea. What are they going to do? They can't use crypto, but neither are they going to their neighbor and going, I've got this silver ounce. Could I have some sugar? Maybe they are, but we don't know what they're dealing with. And that's where we do advocate other ways of, and I guess if you don't listen to all of our,
Diversity, yes.
yeah, if you don't listen to all of our shows, you don't realize that we also advocate for having food. Have you not heard
Hmm.
Zen talk about having food? In case you don't, in case there's a grid shutdown, have you not
Most
heard us talk
important.
about water? Have you not
Yes.
heard us talk? Yeah, we talk about these things. And so
Right.
if you're not a regular listener, your questions don't, they're good only in the sense that you're not listening to the rest of what we're talking about. We're talking about
Yes.
putting power back into your life, which means having electricity or a form of heat or a form of control in your life with aside from gold, silver, crypto, food. We want food and water and all those other things. Somebody else asked
Absolutely.
about paying taxes. The current coin that I'm with the IM coin, you don't have to give your personal information. So with a wallet, you
Hmm.
do. But you can buy coins without using a wallet. But if you want to exchange your coins back to dollars, you may need a wallet. So
Hmm.
the wallet's going to ask for personal information, but that doesn't mean you have to pay taxes on it. So the
Right.
current one of the coins I buy right now, they're not collecting any kind of tax information, no matter how many of the coins I buy or sell.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
then,
currently the
go
IRS
ahead.
does not have something in place to deal with all that. The tax code has not been established, so it's
Exactly.
kind of like a wild, wild west right now. So, but
They
anyways,
want
yeah,
you
let
to
me turn it
report
back
it.
to
Well,
yeah.
yeah, they want you to report it, but you don't have to. There's nothing that's
Especially
going
if you're
to.
buying and selling. If you're
Yeah.
buying and selling and you're earning instead of just buying and holding, then yeah, if you are a trader, then they tax those because they, you know, consider that capital gains. But if you're not buying and selling and making a lot of money in trading, that's a whole different thing. You don't have to worry so much as far as the taxes.
Same for
But
gold and
yes,
silver.
yes, exactly.
A lot
Yeah,
of gold and silver is tax-free. You can sell 100,000 of it in a day and you don't have to report it. And then somebody says, sounds like another fiat. You know, there's a lot of talk like it's just B system stuff. And there's certain people, I'm not answering this question for those people who 100% believe this is the B system, because they're not going to listen to this answer.
right. Right.
But for those people who are like, I don't know, I'm on the fence, it's not another form of fiat because it's finite. And they do have to
Right.
mine it digitally. No, they're not physically mining it. But if you even begin to research what it takes to create blockchain and understand that, you and I can't just do it, Zen. You and I are not just going to go, well, I've
Right.
got a new coin
Right.
and it's called the Zen Garcia Erin Moffett coin. So
Yeah, right.
we're not going to be able to do that. And so these people that are able to do it, it creates a job, it creates activity, and it's finite. It's not infinite. Whereas the dollar is infinite. Fiat currency is infinite. It can be printed off ad nauseum. It can be printed off till the end of time, and no one can really stop it. And so this is different. It's not fiat because it's finite. And so
Right.
that is a different thing. It is not attached to the government, which is another question. Is everybody thinks that the government controls it and it's their secret way of getting us into the B system. Now, if we're wrong about that, you know, Zen and I will be the first to admit we were wrong. But we've also done our research, and I hope people, and I know people do, they trust the research that we do, especially you, Zen. You've been doing this much, much longer than I have.
Mhm.
And when we do that kind of research and we kind of understand how they have to create this, how they have to mine it, how they have to make it a store of value, because that's what money is. Currency is not a store of value, especially fiat. Only money is a store of value. And I actually try to not use those interchangeably when they don't work. Cryptocurrency is a store of value as money, and so is gold and silver. Maybe gold and silver more than crypto if that's where your mindset's at. However, because it's finite and because it requires the work to create it, and the other things we talked about, it is a store of value. The government cannot hack it. It cannot. If you learn much about Bitcoin,
Right.
crypto, Ethereum, all these coins, they cannot be hacked. And even if the person that made the coin told the government, here's how I made it, our particular coins are unhackable. Why do you think they made unstoppable domains with the blockchain
We're at the
technology?
end.
Okay.
Thanks again, everyone. Thank you, Erin. Be blessed all. Shalom.
Peace and love. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you everybody for joining us for this video and this broadcast. We appreciate all of you and thank you for your patronage. Please do like and subscribe and share with your friends. God bless all of you in your seeking.